The gates of Hana University stood exactly as Lee Wyan remembered them, tall, iron, unapologetic, black steel edged with golden laurels flanked by marble pillars that caught the morning light like they were performing for someone. Seoul's finest institution, her father's pride, her battlefield she hadn't wanted to come back. That was the truth. She kept folded small inside her chest, pressed between her ribs where no one could see it. She had spent 4 years building a version of herself abroad, one that didn't flinch at the June name, one that didn't think about a boy who had looked at her like she was the worst thing that had ever happened to him. She had been good at forgetting. And then her father called. It's time, Ryan. Come home. So here she was, 20 years old, third year transfer slot already approved, luggage still not fully unpacked in her apartment 3 blocks from campus. She wore a dark turtleneck, hair falling loose past her shoulders, expression arranged in something perfectly carefully neutral. She had practiced it in the mirror that morning, practiced the walk, too unhurried, unafraid, chin level. She stepped through those gates like she owned at least half ground she walked on. She almost made it to the administration building before she saw him. He was standing near the central courtyard fountain, a cluster of people orbiting him the way people always seemed to orbit Jeon Jungkook, helplessly, magnetically, as if his gravity was simply stronger than theirs. He was taller than she remembered, broader in the shoulders, his dark blazer and the university's gold crest on the chest master student lanyard hanging from his fingers, with the casual arrogance of someone who had never once worried about belonging anywhere. He was laughing at something one of his friends said, and then, with the precision of someone who had a sixth sense for some things he despised, his eyes found her. The laugh died, not slowly, but immediately, like a candle snuffed between two fingers. Vine didn't stop walking. She had promised herself that she wouldn't stop walking, but she felt it. God, she felt it, the exact moment his stare locked onto her. That dark, consuming gaze she remembered too well, the one that used to look at her like she was something worth protecting. Now it was same eyes, same jaw, same mouth, and all of it reconfigured into something cold enough to leave frostbite. She looked away first. She told herself that was a strategy, not retreat. He's here. That was the only coherent thought Jeon Jungkook managed in the 3 seconds it took for him to recognize her. She's actually here. Lee Wyan in the flesh, on his campus, in his city, standing there in that ridiculous cream coat, looking like she hadn't spent 4 years being the reason the word traitor had taken a permanent residence in his vocabulary. The fury that moved through him was familiar. Practiced, he had run it through his mind so many times, what she'd say if he never saw her again, how controlled he'd be, how absolutely unmoved, and now she was 20 meters away and his jaw was tight enough to crack, and his friends were saying something he couldn't hear past the roaring in his own skull. Jungkook, hey, give me a minute, he said, quiet. Finally, he moved. Wine was 2 steps from the administration entrance when his voice reached her. Lee Wyan, not a question, not a greeting, just her name, said the way you'd say stop to someone crossing a line. She turned slowly, deliberately slowly, because she had rehearsed this too. You will not look rattled, you will not explain yourself, you owe him nothing. He had crossed the courtyard without her hearing him, of course he had. He'd always moved like he was built to be invisible when he wanted to be. He stopped 4 feet from her, close enough that she could see the fine tension in his expression, the way his eyes did that thing where they went very, very still right before something dangerous. You're enrolled here, he said it like he was confirming a disaster. Third year finance and business. Her voice was even perfect. Congratulations on master's program. Something flickered in his face. She hadn't let herself analyze that. You have some nerve, he said softly, walking back to her like nothing happened. I walked back, she said, because I was invited. My enrollment is legal, my tuition is paid, and my name is on the register. If that's a problem, I suggest you take up with the administration. Your name, he repeated, and the softness in his voice became something else, something with teeth. Your name is a problem, Ryan. Everything attached to it is a problem. Her chest pulled tight. She didn't show it. Then I suppose we are both just going to have to survive the inconvenience, she said, and turned back to the door. Don't walk away from me. Then stop talking to me like I'm something you scraped off your shoe. She looked at him over her shoulder. Her eyes were steady. Her voice was not quiet. We are not 16 anymore, Jungkook. I'm not going to stand here and be a punching bag because it makes you feel righteous. His expression cracked. His expression cracked just barely, just for a half second, into something that looked almost like pain. Then it sealed shut again. "Stay out of my way," he said. "Gladly," she said. She went inside. She waited until the door closed behind her before she let herself breathe. 3 weeks passed. They developed a system. The way two people sharing a space they both resent to. Parallel lines that never crossed. She took morning lectures. He seemed to live in the afternoon seminar halls. She studied in the East Wing library. He owed the West. The campus was large enough, the universe apparently was cooperative, and then it wasn't. It was a Tuesday, the kind of grey Tuesday that soul specialized in, that particular flavor of overcast that wasn't quite threatening rain but wasn't quite giving up on it either. The campus cafe was warm and smelled like roasted beans and something cinnamon, and wine had been awake since 5 a.m. going over derivatives, models, and she deserved a cup of tea. She ordered at the counter, settled her bag on a chair near the far window, pulled out her notebook. She did not see Jungkook come in. She didn't see the exact moment his friend pointed her out. Isn't that Lee Ryan? Didn't see the way his expression shuttered. Didn't see him choose to sit at the counter 3 stools down from where he had ordered was being prepared. What she did see was the cafe girl sliding a tall cup towards her milk tea, caramel swirl, full cream, wine stomach turned to ice. She hadn't been exhausted. She had just said the usual. She hadn't even thought she was allergic to milk. Nothing severe enough to go for a hospital visit, but enough for her throat to close uncomfortably and her skin to break out in hives. And she had been so tired she had just said the words without thinking. Her hand reached for it automatically. A body appeared in her peripheral vision, and a large hand knocked the cup, hard and deliberate, directly off the counter. Milk tea exploded across the floor. The cup shattered. The cafe went briefly startled, silent. What the wine spun around. Jungkook stood there with his jaw set and his eyes dark, an expression that was trying very hard to be anger and achieving something far more complicated. You're allergic to milk," he said flatly. "That was milk tea?" Silence. The words landed between them like something thrown from a great height. Ryan stared at him. Something moved in her chest, something unwelcome, something she refused to name. He had remembered, stored it somewhere in that steel trap mind of his next to all the things he hated about her, and he had crossed a room to shut. She shut that thought down immediately. "I know that," she said, and her voice came out sharper than she meant it to. "I realized I didn't need you were reaching for it," he said. "I realized," she repeated. "You were about to drink it, Ryan. Don't." Her voice cracked just slightly. "Don't do that. Don't act like it matters to you what I drink." His jaw tightened. "I'm not acting like anything. I saw a problem and I removed it. Don't read into it." "Oh, I'm not reading into anything." She laughed, and it was not a kind sound. "You just shattered a cup in a public cafe and caused a scene because you couldn't stand to do something considerate without it looking into an accident. I understand perfectly." The cafe staff was watching. Other students were watching too. Jungkook didn't spare them a glance. "Compensate the cafe for the cup," he told her, as if that settled things. "And order something you can actually drink. Thank you so much for the instructions." "Yeah." The voice came from behind her. Male, unfamiliar, close. Too close. Ryan felt it before she persisted. A hand closing around her upper arm, fingers pressing harder than the gesture warranted. The particular kind of grip that announced itself as something unpleasant. One of the onlookers, emboldened by the spectacles, had apparently decided her distraction was an invitation. "Really, Ryan, right, Mr. Lee's daughter? We should talk sometime." She started to pull away. Jungkook moved faster. He crossed the distance in 2 steps. His hand closed around the man's wrist with a precision that looked almost gentle, and then the angle changed. Pressure applied to exactly right point, and the man made a sound like his breath had been taken from him. Jungkook's expression didn't change. That was the worst part. He wasn't enraged, wasn't theatrical. He was calm, with the particular calm of someone who had learned violence at such a young age that it had simply become vocabulary for them. "Let go." Jungkook said 3 words. "Conversational." The man let go, walk away. Jungkook said 2 words. "Still conversational." The man walked away quickly. Jungkook turned back to Ryan, and something happened to his face when he looked at her. A rapid series of expressions that moved too fast to catch, like a deck of cards, shuffled and put away before she could read the suits. His eyes swept over her arm, the place where she had been grabbed just for a second. "Are you?" "Don't," she said. Her voice had lost its edge. That was the problem with him. He kept changing the rules, kept being this, and she had no script for this. "Don't ask me that. I wasn't going to ask you anything, he said, and his voice was softer than before. They stood in the ruins of milk tea in the middle of a very quiet cafe full of very interested witnesses, and the air between them was thick with 4 years and misunderstandings, and something that used to be closest thing either of them had known to family. Thank you, she said finally, quietly. The words tasted strange. For the You didn't have to. His eyes found hers, held them. No, he agreed, I didn't. He picked up his own coffee from the counter. His knuckles were wide around the cup. Stay away of what you're ordering, he said and walked out. Ryan stood very still for a long moment, then she turned to the cafe girl who was staring. Can I get a black tea, please? Ryan said, voice perfectly composed, no milk. She sat back down at her table. She did not open her notebook for a very long time. Outside, John Jungkook stood in the grey Tuesday air and stared at nothing in particular. His hand was shaking slightly. He looked at it, looked away. He thought about the way she had reached for that cup, the automatic, exhausted, unthinking reach of someone running on too little sleep. He thought about being 12-year-old and watching her have a reaction in his family kitchen, and his mother pressing a cold cloth to her throat, and mine crying because it was embarrassing, and his mother saying, shh, shh. We just have to remember, that's all. We just remember for you. He crushed the thought like paper. He hated her. He was sure of it. He walked to his next seminar and did not drink. About the way she had said thank you in that small, unguarded voice. He did not think about it.